I'm trying to help everybody else not adopt that same thought process because I have probably lost millions of dollars using that in them, and I want them to not have the same pain I've had with it. And I think a lot of us, when it comes to coaching other practice owners, come from that realm of like, man, I made so many mistakes. If I had the brain I had right now, today's episode, what we're going to go off of is we got some feedback that people loved the marketing episode we did. And the conversation that's going to come up today is going to be about personal brand versus business brands. And I think we're in a unique position to answer those questions because all of us did it slightly differently, right? So I think what we're going to kind of dive into today is going to be talking about like probably the different stages of your practice and how different how your marketing approach when it comes to business brand versus personal brand will change and our personal kind of experiences. So let's start with personal experiences first. Will, how did you kind of start when it comes to posting personal brand versus business brand, and how do you kind of like organize those thoughts in your head?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully this resonates with a lot of people. That was the first thing I wanted to get off my plate was our social media. I don't like social media. I'm not on it a ton. Um, I don't really like talking in front of a camera. Like having conversations like this is a lot easier for me. And so I never had a personal brand to start. But we started the business brand from the very beginning, right? We started the Instagram, started posting some content. And then I think that was the most important thing. And like Zaki, I know you have a big personal brand and a great business brand. And so like if you can do both of those at the same time, that's great. But if you're choosing one, I like doing the business brand. And the reason is because the faster that you can remove yourself from your ads and the faster you can remove yourself from the content, you're not going to be directly tied to that brand anymore and you're not going to be limited. So if you ever did want to get out of ads, you can, have your team do it. So like if you look at any of our ads at the movement shop, I'm not in any of them. It's all the team, all the PTs are running them, and then we have an in-house marketing person that creates all the content. I started a personal brand like 3 months ago, and that's like on the business side of things like that's not really connected to the company. And so like when it comes to the actual like movement shop, right, our actual PT practice, we really just have that business brand.
Okay.
Started doing workshops. I was also doing workshops as well. I'm getting really good traction from these workshops. And why don't I just put my time into that? That's being way more fruitful than the videos. And so I went all in on like workshops, collecting Google reviews. And then that ended up being really fruitful for us, creating a brand in a different way, in the sense that I was creating a brand on Google and Yelp and our reviews. And so we were showing up really high on search results for that. Right. So we kind of went and focused on developing our brand in a different way that wasn't directly tied to social media on it. We've gotten better at over time with it. Like I'm not in just like, well, I'm not in any of the videos anymore. Except then at some point I do want to sell ProKinetics. Not anytime soon, but eventually. And I know that the more that I'm directly involved with social media or the face, the less that my business is worth as well. And so I think outsourcing it is really helpful on it. But there's also a lot of power behind it having a personal brand as well. Like Hormozy talks about as well. It's like that's why he's worth hundreds of millions of dollars because he actually has his personal brand, right? So you can be successful, in my opinion, both ways. I think it's to develop choosing what you get energy from. Like I personally do not, I hate talking in front of the camera and like recording and messing up, and I just feel dumb doing it. I'm like, it's just something that it's just like, I also think about future pacing. Like 10 years from now, when I have kids and a family, do I want to be sitting in front of camera all the time? Like, answer was no, even though there's tons of power in developing a personal brand, right?
Mhm.
And then some people get tons of energy off it. Like, Zach, I think you really enjoy it, right?
Mhm.
And so you got to ask yourself, like, what do you get energy from? And I think you don't have to choose one route to be successful.
Yeah.
Like it's like, oh, you have to post content to be successful, or you don't have to post and you can be successful. You can do it both ways. I think it comes down to your personality and what you enjoy and get fulfillment out of.
Yeah, I think the people don't realize that when it comes to brands, it can really be anything you want. Like pe people don't understand that, there's playbooks out there of people that have done it successfully in the past, and they want to obviously you want to learn from them, take pieces of them, but you're never going to copy a brand and the way one brand does it and build your brand the same way. Because the way I started doing it, I was very similar to you, Ben, where like I started posting. I was a perfectionist. I remember the first time I went in, like, I gotta start posting. I had like a bunch of ideas to record, and it took me 3 hours to do like three 1 minute clips. It's like, oh man, I paused too long here. Oh, I said too much here. I'm like, God damn, this is stupid. And then eventually, I got better and better at it because I didn't quite stop there. Then it became a little bit less of a perfectionist, realizing that people just want to be able to connect with someone authentic on there. But when I look back at it, my intention was to get clients from my personal brand posting stuff, but it never happened. What ended up happening was something. What my intention wasn't this, but it ended up happening was I started connecting with a lot of other physical therapists that were kind of watching my journey and like learning from me because I'm a little. I think that the biggest thing that led me down this path of entrepreneurship was first I was like really highly clinically trained. I did a residency, I did a fellowship. I've taken, hundreds of thousands of dollars of continuing education courses on that side, worked with really high level NFL players, WNBA players, all these professional athletes. I consult with teams now even. And that's what people resonated with, not the business, not patients looking at it and wanting to come in. And I look at personal brand versus business brand, especially at the beginning. And I think Alex Hormozy is the perfect example of it. Like imagine he started acquisition.com and never had a personal brand. Like could he have got it? Could it have been successful? Absolutely. Everything that guy does is going to be successful. Would it have had the rocket fuel that it has now? Probably not, because people, adore this guy and they revel at the fact that this guy's like a business master, right? So when he puts his name behind anything, now he's got jet fuel behind it. Like look at what he did with school.com, right? A big reason that website is so successful is because he put a stamp on it. But that stamp would not have been worth shit unless he built his personal brand first. So it depends on what route you want to go. The way I look at it is you're going to have to do a business plan regardless. You're gonna have to do one regardless. How much time and effort you want to put into the personal brand really depends on, like you said, do you get energy from it and do you enjoy it? And do you feel authentic in front of the camera? Do you feel like you're performing? Do you feel like these scripts that AI is writing for you now are actually real? Or do you just have a couple talking points and you just kind of being yourself on camera? I think that will a lot of times be probably the number one indicator if someone's going to have a personal brand that's successful. And then from there, you got to have fun with it and kind of detach yourself from the outcome. I think I heard this from Will. Will says now when he does workshops with his team, it's not there to go sign a million people as patients. It's for brand awareness. The PTs really just enjoy doing it. And I'm sure they enjoy it even more now that Will, as their leader, told them, hey, your goal is not to go in there and sign everybody up. Your goal is to go in there and blow their socks off with how much you know and just enjoy yourself and have fun, like, really helping people. And that's kind of the same idea that you should take with a personal brand is like, we're in unique positions that we get to be who we are and build businesses. And I think a lot of folks where they either stop early when that's not occurring, or two, they end up hating what they built because it doesn't feel like in alignment with them and authentic to them.
Yeah, dude, that's such a good point. And like that is, and for me, like I'm pushing all this business coaching stuff, but it's so that we can do more acquisitions. So like the way that we're going with the movement shop is we're creating this basically MSO, and then we're gonna be buying clinics and then basically revamping the ones that are kind of struggling, dropping our systems in, and then blowing up from like a profit and like brand standpoint, because that's what we're good at. And so I'm not putting this content out to like do business coaching. Like I don't want to do that at all. This is for the movement shop. And now that I have like that why, now I have so much more purpose behind what I'm saying. And I know exactly who I'm speaking to. And so when I'm speaking, I'm speaking to practice owners and operators who are struggling and who are like maybe really good clinically, but not very good on the business side. And they either need a partner or they're ready to be bought out, or they want some sort of like acquisition structure. And so now all my content, I'm speaking to those people. And that's how we got our first deal. So we're in the middle of an acquisition right now. And if I never would have started posting 3 months ago, that deal never would have came to us. And it's, it's supposed to close September 30th. We'll see how it goes. But if I never would have started that brand itself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point. I think that's people don't realize, like, a lot of people look at influencers, right? And they look at their personal brands they're building. And I've worked with a ton of influencers as patients, and some of these people are doing crazy numbers, right? But people think like, oh, if I post enough, I get enough views, like Instagram will pay me or Facebook will pay me. It's like, no, the opportunities that come from you building a brand and building an audience is where these opportunities come from. And like for example, I've one girl that I used to work with, and she has like a home renovation kind of online personal brand, and she gets brand deals from companies that say, hey. Post about our curtains and our like our luxury vinyl plank because it's in alignment with her personal brand, and they pay her money for it. So the way you're creating opportunities are these acquisitions. You're not looking for brand deals. You're not looking for this or that. You're looking for acquisitions. So yeah, I think you're 1,000% right. You need to know your why because then you know the outcome you're looking for. And you know, like the cadence of that outcome. If it was brand deals, it'd be like, okay, how many companies are there out there that would give me brand deals that I would want? And so I can understand like how often should I be expecting these brand deals coming in? For you, the amount of people out there that are looking to get their business acquired in a physical therapy space is probably not super crazy, so you understand that it might be a couple months till you get another direct like organic inquiry on this stuff, but when you do they will probably have watched a bunch of your content already and they're already ready to talk to you seriously about these things versus having like tire kickers that are just like there to just to take up your time, right? So I guess the next question would be the different content styles on the personal brand versus the business brand. How do you guys like put those like how do you know you make a video, how do you know where it should go?
Yeah, I mean, like for me, like honestly, I'm the wrong person to ask. I'm not joking when I say I hate that stuff. Like
Yeah.
I literally hate it. Like I have a marketing girl and like she does all of that. And I can kind of like maybe like talk through her brain a little bit. But like the way that she does it for like the company brand is she knows who our ideal customer is, right? She knows like our ICP, like our ideal customer profile, and every single piece of content is built to speak to those people.
Hmm.
Right. So it's like that 40-year-old like guy or girl who has like a couple little kids, they're into fitness, maybe they like golfing on the weekends, they work out 5 days a week, they have good jobs, they value their health. Like all of the content that we build is speaking to that exact person. And so like if you look at our social media page at the Movement Shop, she does a really, really good job and you'll know him. And she's Gen Z, like she's early 20s, but she knows how to build the content for that like mid 40-year-old like fitness athlete. And so like I think that's the most important thing. You got to know who you're talking to and you have to build the content around that.
Yeah, our approach with it is not necessarily between personal and business. It's more so like where are we putting our content at? What I mean by that is like our we have paid ads and then we have what's on our page. Our what we run for ads is completely different from what we're posting on Instagram. What I'm doing with our Instagram page is I want social proof and I want our personality to shine through because where we get our clients is people that opt into our ad or thinking about opting our ad, they click on our Instagram page to see what we're all about. They see 1,000 5-star reviews. They say we won Best of Oakland magazine for best physical therapy clinic. They see all the social proof and then also see our personality and they also see what the clinic looks like as well because that makes them more warmed up that this is actually for me. So our Instagram strategy and social media strategy is with the intention of people off of our ads what do we want them to see and what's going to decrease our cost per lead because of them visiting our page. That's our strategy on how we go about deciding what to post and all that. So we spend like 20K, 25K on paid ads. And so we can decrease our cost per lead if we are nailing our Instagram page and what communicate and showcase there.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
100%.
I think that's one of the biggest points. Like I was just listening to Hermosi said something about how they have a negative CAC, or maybe it was Sharon. They have like a negative CAC, and the reason is because like and they pump ads, but like they have such a good, strong brand that people are going to be buying no matter what. And I went to a workshop like, a few years ago, and and while I was talking to the sales guy, he was like, I was like, okay, cool, like 5 grand, like, all right, maybe it's worth it, maybe it's not, I don't know. He's like, well, think about this. How much money have you made just from their free content over the last couple of years? And I was like, that's a good point. And I signed up immediately. And so it was like, it's such an easy thing to say. Like if you're pumping this content and people are like, they're resonating with the things that you say, they see the personalities of the PTs, like you want to give like the whole point of a personal brand is you want to give your company a personality. Whether you decide that you want to have a brand or not, it doesn't matter because you will have a brand. You just get to influence it. But your clients actually, and a little bit of the team too, they're the ones who control the brand because they're the ones who are going out and talking about it. And so no matter what, you're going to have a brand. It's up to you to control it or not.
Yeah. Yeah, and Zaki, I'd be curious to your thoughts on that. 'Cause, I mean, you're the one that's most qualified to be answering this question. Like, so I'm curious.
Yeah,
Like,
I think when it comes to the personal brand, anything to do with any kind of marketing, I look at it as a way of like writing your own story, right? Like if I had an autobiography made of myself, whether it was like documentary style video or a book, I think I can make myself look a lot fucking cooler than anybody else can make myself look. I'd be giving myself crazy aura of I could tell my story so much better in the way I want to be able to present myself. So if you have the opportunity to do that, you'd be kind of crazy not to take it when you can write your own story. Because, like, you gotta think about it this way, man. Like, the physical therapy profession has done a terrible job of writing our story. Like, that's literally why our businesses exist, is because we had to break the mold. We couldn't go along that same pathway as typical clinics and like do insurance based and like just put people through mills, take these shitty reimbursements and like be a slave to the insurance company because it just doesn't feel authentic to what we want to provide, which is really, really high level care to the people that really, really value it, right? So I think this is the opportunity, and I think, it's like that. What's that old adage? Like the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. Next best time is now. Like a lot of people get stuck thinking about, oh man, I missed out when TikTok boomed. I should have made a TikTok account 5 years ago during COVID. Blah blah blah. It's like, well, okay, that doesn't mean you can't start now and start building up on things that you quote unquote miss. Like the opportunity is still plenty, right? There's still plenty of time for people to connect with you, and you just got to start now. And I think, like I said, the first thing I would do if I was starting that brand, like, if I was starting it again, would be to like just find my authentic voice because it'll make me it'll give me such a lower chance of getting burnt out doing these videos, like and be like, oh shit, I gotta do these videos. And the best tip that I received for this and what I kind of use when I make my videos is I'm a little bit like I don't want to say confrontational, but I enjoy a back and forth. Like I really enjoy like it feels stimulating to me, and it feels like so I almost have in my mind like someone told me something, and I'm giving a rebuttal to it, right? And that to me feels super authentic. Like some of my reactions in my videos might be like, what the why would you even think that, right? And then I start my conversation because then for me that's really authentic feeling, and then the words just kind of like come out of my mouth. There's no scripting required, anything like that, because it's just me having a conversation with somebody I'm kind of envisioning in my head. So at the end of the day, the beautiful thing about the personal brand is that what's the saying? That a rising tide lifts all boats, right? Like the personal brand, if you build it, anything you want to do personally, whether it's like getting brand deals or finding these acquisitions, it will help with. But it'll also help with the business brand, where the opposite is not necessarily true, right? Where if you build this business brand, it's not going to help your personal brand. So it's like there's pros and cons to each, but it does take, I feel like, certain qualities of a human to be able to sustain the putting yourself out there under a microscope. And to me, I think, and I think to a lot of entrepreneurs that are successful, like even like you guys analyze. Let's hear
Yeah.
yours, Ben, because yours is probably long, a lot, like longer
I
ago than
mean,
ours.
ours was a little bit different because we were like still images still crushed it. Like
Yeah.
it's probably 10 times harder to run paid ads now than it was back in 20. Started running paid ads back in 2020, right before COVID hit.
Hmm.
Oh my gosh, it was insane on how it was just like still images. Like, do you have knee pain? I can help. Sign up for a $49 session. And then the landing page was shit. Like you had a lot of room for error on it.
Yeah.
And so
Cost per lead was nothing.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's like $7. Oh, that shit was crazy.
yeah,
Wild Wild West.
yeah,
Back in the good old days.
yeah.
Yeah.
So ours were like, yeah, terrible.
Make paid ads great again.
Yeah. Yeah,
Hey,
but what
dude.
was your guys?
So, dude, this is funny. This is actually goes right back to the point of what I was saying about not caring what people think. The first ever ads I ran was like really, really short, like videos, like 10-second videos. One was of me like doing like a dumbbell press and throwing the weight down. You got shoulder pain? $49 diagnostic, whatever else, right? Dude, I remember this like it was yesterday. The first comment I ever got on that video, and people might get triggered by this. The first comment I ever got was like, "What is a terrorist gonna teach me about shoulder pain?" And I was like, "This guy got me, dude." I was like, "Dude, burn my shit." So then I
What
put
did you
that
teach
ad
him?
up so quick, dude. I was like, "Oh, dude." I don't want to hear this stuff. And you're like, eventually, I was like, why am I letting this guy dictate what I'm doing? Like, I've had much worse things said to me. It is close though. But it was much worse things. So I turned the ad on. I blocked him, and then I kind of read it back again. But that's I guess like a really cool, not cool story, like how it kind of ties back to like the personal branding and not worrying about what people say. But that was the first ads we ever ran, and then every other comment was like, "Oh, fake weights, fake weights." I'm like, where am I gonna get fake weights from, dude? I know I got like a sleeper build. People don't realize like I've lifted weights for a long time because I wear like baggier clothes. I have like a narrower frame. But like, yeah, and then after that, and at that point, I took that as a compliment. I'm like, damn, these guys think I'm so strong. These are fake.
Yeah.
Hey,
If it makes you feel better, that dude's shoulder probably still hurts.
can't really go and see any doctor that's probably not going to be Pakistani or like some kind of brown, right? It's like 50% chance. So he's narrowing his field down quite a bit.
I hope his shoulder still hurts. Fuck that dude.
I hope I hope more than his shoulder hurts.
Will, what was your first ad?
Dude, our first ads, it was like the same thing. It was like still images, and this was before like I knew anything about meta ads. Like we were just like throwing money at this thing, and and like we were getting all these like low cost leads, not great quality. I didn't know what I was doing. We weren't calling them super fast, like literally no systems. And like this was probably, I mean, this was definitely during COVID. It was like 2020 probably. And I'll never forget, we had this lady, I can't say her name, Hippo, whatever, but opted in. She still sees us to this day, almost 5 years later, and she's just awesome. She's this nurse, and like she comes in, different body parts, shoulder, back, knee. She's like been paddling, her shoulder hurts, or she's like moved a patient, hurt her back, still sees us. And like I just always think like the ROAS on that is insane. And then besides her, nothing else for like months. Like we could not cover anything, and like the ads were so bad. And so now I'm like, thank God we know what we're doing now. But before that, I was like, without her, it would have been a disaster.
Yeah. Actually, like it's funny, the reason why I like went towards that organic posting so heavily was because our first paid ads, like I built in my mind, oh, these don't work. Not in Las Vegas. Everyone else could be having success, but I tried it and they don't work. And it's because our system sucked, dude. Like, first of all, the ad sucked. Second of all, like when the people opted in, we wouldn't call them for a day. And then I wrote it off as ads don't work versus like, okay, how do I fix this? Obviously ads work. They're just buying attention. What kind of attention are you getting and how quickly are you capitalizing on that attention is going to be very important. But then that's what really drove me down, like the organic. I went heavier into workshops, heavier into building relationships in town, referral relationships and stuff, and then was able to build a seven-figure practice with zero ads. And I think that was a turning point. But then eventually learning about them more and more and more, seeing your success, seeing Ben's success, seeing all these folks' success using paid ads, I'm like, dude, I need to change the way I think. It can't be that, like, can't be possible that I live in the only city on the planet that paid ads don't work. Right. And I made every excuse in my head in the book. Oh, yeah. Las Vegas is different. Like, people buy, there's a billboard every, 50 yards on the freeway. That's why people think about it different. Oh, you know what? Las Vegas is a growing town. It has this kind of population, this demographic. That's why ads don't work. I'm like, man, how much leverage and time did I lose with that stupid thought process, And I now almost in my mind am so against that thought process. I'm trying to help everybody else not adopt that same thought process because I have probably lost millions of dollars using that thought process. No, millions of dollars. And when people adopt it, I can just see myself in them, and I want them to not have the same pain I've had with it. And I think a lot of us, when it comes to coaching other practice owners, come from that realm of like, man, I made so many mistakes. If I had the brain I had right now, transplanted it into myself 6 years ago, how much quickly more quickly I would have grown. I want other people to.
Yeah, 100%. And like, yeah, I mean, like we've all made mistakes. Like we had, like this is why I'm so against like having admins do discovery calls is like I went back and I literally calculated how much money we lost over a 9 month period with our admin doing discovery calls versus me. And it was $400,000.
Oh,
It's like just
yeah.
based off conversions. But back to like ads and everything, I think that's the other thing too is like I love leverage. Like almost everything in my life is leveraged to some degree. And I think that's what paid ads do and organic content targeted. That like if I get an ad, I'm like, oh damn, like that's actually super convenient. I need that. But what I do is like, yeah, I'm like maybe I'll click on the landing page and I'll click off the landing page, and then I'm gonna click on the company and I'm gonna go to their actual organic page and I'm gonna see what kind of content they're posting. And I'm
Hmm.
gonna see, is this a brand that I actually align with? And I think that's actually what drove our cost to acquire a client and our cost per lead down over the last maybe 18 months is like when we really started getting like paying attention to organic. Because now if somebody clicks on an ad, they're gonna come to our page and they're like, oh man, I totally vibe with this company. Like this brand is totally on brand to myself and they align with it. And then from there, it's like then they go to our website and then maybe they're on our website. Maybe they fill out a form there. But you don't know what actually drove that intent click like to actually generate or to turn them into a lead because it could have been, they saw organic, then they saw an ad, and then they went to Google and they saw our Google reviews, then they saw a Google ad, and then they still into our website and they finally opted in on our website. You just don't know. And like you need to play all these things. Like Ben, I know you have stories where, you guys haven't ran a workshop in 2 years or something like that, and you guys still get leads coming in, clients coming in from workshops you've done in the past.
Yeah.
And having an email marketing and everything flows together, right? You want to have like however many touch points you can possibly have. And then that way you're fishing with like in like a very specific area with a ton of lines in the water.
Yeah. And I think
And
that,
that's how you like create success in my opinion.
yeah, you brought up too the Google reviews. You never know what they're gonna do. Maybe they go to your social media page, but a lot of people are also gonna be searching you on Google and looking at your reviews too. And so um, having that social proof is huge. So make sure you're collecting Google reviews because it will decrease your cost per lead and increase your conversion rates too by having that along with your
Yeah. Social proof is everything. Like think about like if you go to a restaurant, like if you see two restaurants next to each other and one of them has a long line coming out and the other one has nobody in there,
Yeah.
which one are you going to?
Yeah.
You're going to the one with the line because obviously it's good. Now, but here's like where social proof even comes in even deeper. If you have somebody like connected, if you have a friend that went to the other one, they're like, dude, I found this place. It's a hole in the wall. It's freaking sneaky good. Now you're probably gonna actually go to the one that doesn't have a lot of people in it because you're like, oh, I found a gem. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And so it's important to have both sides of social proof, the word of mouth and like people telling their friends about you, but then also the or like normal social proof where people like rely on strangers' opinions on Google reviews, right? And they're
Yeah.
both massively important starting out.
Yeah, I think people are getting skeptical, right? And it's been going on for a little while now, where it's like, and it's true. Like, of course, I'm gonna say the best things about my brand. What am I gonna say bad things about it? It's like, hey, you know what? Like last week, like somebody heated up sardines in the kitchen and it smells kind of bad in there. I'm not gonna say those things in my ads. So then they're gonna look at people that are, to them third parties, which are going to be previous clients, Google reviews. It could be friends that have been there. It's going to be looking at organic posting, seeing the comments under there. I can't remember the exact statistic, but I think they say like people look at your brand on like 7 different platforms before they decide to buy. So you have to be like omnipresent. You got to be everywhere. You got to be on Yelp. You got to be on Google. You got to be on these things that you might look at as like waste of time. Like Will said, you don't know what caused the intent. Like you could have a best guess, right, of what caused the intent that this person finally decided to buy. They could have been lurking on your shit for months before they decided, hey, I want to submit this form. I'm ready to kind of go, right? You don't know what it was. So you kind of want to do everything. And until we get some kind of AI eye tracking system that can like really tell you exactly what they watch, why they watch it, everything like that, which I think it's such an invasion of privacy. I don't think it's ever going to exist. Almost paralysis by analysis. What advice would you have for folks that are in that, whether it's personal or business brand? Like, what advice would you have for people that are like stuck of like they don't know what to do? Should I get business cards? Should I get card stock this thick? Should I get glossy? Should I get matte? Like all these there's all these choices and options. What overarching way do you guys think about things that can help them make decisions fast?
I'll say just make the decision faster. Like if you guys want if you want some encouragement, go to my Instagram, go back 3 months on my first videos. I just did this video, it was like a minute long, and I had like 18 zooms, like in it, and like Ricky was dying laughing, just like he's like, bro, that video is so bad. And I was like, whatever. I'm posting every day for 90 days because I know that's what I'm supposed to do. And I haven't missed a day. I posted every single day, and it'll be 90 days and 3 days.
Nice.
And I'm still gonna keep going, right? And but it's just so much better. Like you're gonna get better with reps. So make the decision, fail fast, and then just go. If you fail fast, you can make decisions so much faster. You'll be able to execute on your results so much faster.
Mhm.
Yeah, speed
What do
wins.
you?
Speed wins on it. Me and Zaki both had the same experience starting out by professionalism. Man, it slowed us down so much on
Mhm.
it. And yeah, his thing too is like you don't know what's actually going to resonate with people. Like our best ad is something that Naomi's their clinic director in San Diego. She had told me, hey, we need to make sure to turn the audio off so they don't get the background noise on some of our comments that we were making. I forgot to do it. And one of our
Sure.
PTs, one of our PTs, it was like a scraping video, and all he said in the comments like, "Ooh, crunchy," and it's because it was like on Achilles. And we have so many people. We've been running this ad for like a year and a half, and it's what people like. Yeah, I thought it was like interesting they use the word crunchy because that's exactly what it feels like for me. Like,
Damn.
it feels like something's crunchy in there. That was not planned at all. It's like the stupidest thing. We were actually supposed to take out the audio. Thank God we didn't. It's one of our best ROI ads. You just don't know what's going to resonate. Like the
Yeah.
stupidest, silliest things. And like, don't drive yourself crazy trying to guess what it's going to be. Because I would have never guessed that. I
Mhm.
would have actually guessed the opposite. We were supposed to turn off the audio, but it's what resonated with people. And it's our best ad that we ran in the last year and a half.
Yeah.
You're gonna see
I
a
think
bunch of ads saying crunchy now.
Yeah.
no, I think the thing people have to realize too is that nothing is more valuable to learn and move forward than a closed loop, right? Like actually making a decision because like maybes kill you, right? Whether it's like the sales process you have with patients coming in, whether it's decision making process you're making, it's just more things weighing on your brain time and time and time again versus making a decision, checking that list off and moving on from it, right? So I think closed loops are something that you have to be able to have decisions. And so just if people aren't familiar with the terminology, an open loop is a decision process that's still in the air somewhere, right? I'm still thinking about it, I'm still doing this or that. The more of those you open, the less room you have in your brain to think clearly and think correctly. So the faster you can close loops, the faster one you can learn from the result of that closing loop. So say you did buy business cards like we did, a bunch of them, and they're all sitting in the fucking drawer and no one uses them because everyone loses them now. It's everything's digital anyway. But for some reason, everybody starting wants business cards. I need to have this makes me a legitimate business. And like I literally hired somebody, like my executive assistant, her only job is close my loops because I like to open a bunch of loops. That's my thing. Like I'm a big visionary. Like I have a lot of different ideas. She closes my loops for me, right? And I know that if she's back there closing them for me, I can open them and be okay, right? Because she gives me a report every single day of exactly what the loops are, what they're kind of going on. So I would say like I know myself enough that I know open loops kill me, and I know I need someone's help to close them. So I learned that over time. But at the beginning, you won't have as many things going on, so you should be closing loops as you go along.
Yeah, dude, I saw this thing this morning that like reminded me of what you said earlier about both you and Ben talking about speed and closing loops and the idea of just making a decision. It's so important that you do it fast, and the reason is because there's only two things that can happen. You're either going to make the right decision and it's going to lead to happiness and more revenue and like better life, or it's going to be the wrong decision. It's going to lead to wisdom and learning. And
Mhm.
so you're either earning or learning, and they normally don't happen at the same time. And so just make that decision, take the risk because it's either going to lead to happiness or wisdom, and I'm okay with both of those.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, I think the when people make those decisions faster, they do need to go into it with the mindset of it's okay to make quote unquote incorrect decisions because it's going to lead to that, right? Like it's only a loss if you allow it to be a loss in bad decisions. Whether it's like, hey, I want to try this. What is more time going to do for you? The source of information that you're going to learn the most from is right in front of you. And then two, the only thing you're gonna do when you leave here is you're gonna build it to $100 million brand before he sells it. Is it 50 million? Is there a number? And like, or is there something else like that tells you that? Is it more based on what your lifestyle? And same thing with you, Will. Like as you start acquiring these practices, like are you gonna acquire 400? Are you gonna acquire 10 and be okay? Like what's your guys' vision with the future here when it comes to the brands you guys are building?
I'll say for us, it's like the goal for me, the why behind it is I like developing leaders and like I want to make the world a better place and I fucking hate our healthcare system. I think it's broken. I think it rewards the wrong people. That could be a whole podcast by itself. But I also think PTs are getting like kind of the shit in the stick as well. And so I want to be able to create opportunities for PTs to be the leaders that they want to be without having to learn all the business side and marketing and sales and everything else. And like I like leading leaders. I hate managing people. And so I want to give the best A players on our team the opportunities to have their own practices. And the best way to do that and the fastest way to do that is going to be either opening one or acquiring an existing one. And so we're doing both at the same time. We're opening a practice in January and we're acquiring this other clinic in at the end of September. And so we're going to basically run a split test. The reason we're able to do that is because I have leaders in both, right? I'm not going to be splitting my attention between three clinics now. We have Ricky leading Torrance. We have another clinic director that's going to be running this one that we're acquiring, and then we have somebody in our team currently who's a killer who's going to be leading this other one that we're going to open. And I can talk about it more as we go, as I have like more information and I can share it. But that's the goal for us is I want to lead and I want to change this industry and I want to do it with just awesome people that I love having conversations with and that's a whole entire thing. Do we want to sell it one day? Yeah, probably. But the way that I'm building it is we're going to either be able to sell the MSO and like exit the whole thing, or we're going to be able to exit out like individual clinic locations. And so say we do have somebody that's like, hey, like, I want to go do my own thing and we,
but in a similar ways. And so focus is going to be on that. Eventually, what I want to do is take on more of a fractional role. I don't see myself like buying clinics and like going in and like revamping everything. What I'd like to do is more. I've already done it with one clinic. Is going in and I meet with them. Started out multiple times a week, and then now it's down to like every other week that I meet with them. I just own a fractional part of it, and all mine is based on strategy. Like I love the strategy piece of it, and I can help them avoid mistakes, like we talked about, mistakes that people make. I meet with them and I give them all of our systems and processes. It's their role to implement. I honestly don't like going in and doing the nitty-gritty of like implementing, doing the implementation. I like the strategy behind it and being able to pull big levers and tell people what should be like, what's the right call here and how do we go about executing it. I personally don't like executing it. I've done it. I know how what really good looks like, so I can coach on that. But I like taking more of a higher level. I want to continue to take more of a higher level approach and take more of a fractional approach to it, on things. So, but yeah, I'm curious on what you're what you're.
Yeah, I think our vision here is one, really conquer like the Las Vegas metro area. I think we still have an opportunity for a couple more clinics. The clinic we just opened in January is already at like $70,000 a month. So it grew really quick in 7 months. Like that's it's really quick. So it kind of tells us we got some juice in Las Vegas. So we're gonna try it again. Hopefully beginning of next year, opening up another clinic in Vegas in like another area that's a very nice area. Now I know what size we want and everything. I know what kind of level we want to eventually get to in terms of how many PTs. And I'm really excited for that because like Will said, I have such great people on my team. I have a COO that is phenomenal. She's basically the yin to my yang. Like I'm a dog chasing cars. She's the leash. Like she helps point me in the right direction. I'm a little nuts when it comes to that. I have a phenomenal guy that is like the head of patient acquisition. You guys met him, George, from the last event. He's phenomenal at what he does. Really high level thinker, and I think with them on my team, and obviously the PTs that we built in our acquisition system there, we really have something. We really have the opportunity to do something special in Vegas, which has grown into that direction of a couple more clinics just in this small area, which is showing you how important brand is. Like every single Las Vegas pro sports team has sent us people directly before. Multiple Las Vegas city organizations work directly with us to work with their people. Like in a is it next week? Yeah, next week there's this government facility called the Nevada Test Site, which they do like nuclear operations and nuclear testing, stuff like that. They're bringing us up there to do injury screens on their 4,000 plus employees, and potentially can lead to like a really good partnership with like a government contract, very very potentially. And it's because we kind of like bunker down and really, like I said, Las Vegas is our city, our town, plant a flag. And the reason I know that too is because I opened that clinic in Michigan and it's much slower growing than the one we have in Vegas. So there was something missing. I thought it was just the systems that we had in place, but I'm learning more and more. The brand we built in local Las Vegas is so strong. I want to make sure that I'm capitalizing it because like it's if we use the Hormozy example, if he built this crazy brand about like him being a phenomenal business operator and business owner, and then he went to start selling courses on how to cut men's hair. It's like, dude, like why would he not capitalize on this situation? So that's what I really want to do. And eventually, isn't necessarily like to impact. Obviously, we're going to impact tons of patients in a phenomenal way. My vision is to impact the people we hire in crazy ways, like allow them to make money that they didn't think they would, allow them to have freedom and enjoyment in their job that they didn't think they would. Because I think once we finally nail that, the amount of people we can impact multiplies like crazy because then we can retain people longer, they're happier, they're more skilled, and they really just enjoy building relationships with people. And that's what I think people are missing. Like for example, the lady you've been working with for 5+ years off of your first ad, right? She probably feels so much comfort in the fact that you guys are there for her no matter what happens in her life, that she doesn't want to let you guys go, right? Like that's what I want to be able to build for my employees and for people that work with me and partner with me, is like an environment like that. And maybe like if the multiple is high enough, maybe it's a possibility. I've already talked to my team about it. It's not anytime soon, and I don't want to sell out to like a private equity that's going to come and gut the thing and destroy the legacy that we've kind of built. So the chances of us like really getting the multiple we want if we take private equity out of there kind of dwindles down a little bit. So it might just be something that like I
want to continue to become as well. Like Emma and Naomi are clinic directors at the San Diego and Oakland location. They came to the event and spoke on stage, and it's been so awesome. Like see their personal journey and how much they've developed personally and professionally since starting at ProKinetics. Like that was super rewarding on it. That's my favorite part of the event, was seeing those guys on stage talking to hundreds of the clinic owners about what a great clinic director looks like and how they can implement it. Like to think about where they started, where we started, and be able to see that was really cool. And I think that the more that we can grow ProKinetics, the more opportunities there are for other people outside just Emma and Naomi to be able to continue to grow personally and professionally in that way would be super rewarding too. So that's something.
Yeah, I mean, like one of my goals is like make capitalism cool again. Like I want people to have growth opportunities and like be able to like, take ownership of themselves and actually get a piece of something that's important to them and be like rewarded for what they're doing and not have this like cap of everybody's the same and this is your peak, like this is it. It's like I want people to be like, hey, like the COO role is open. And it's like it's open for anybody. Like you got to climb that ladder and like show that you want it and then help grow this brand and help us change more lives. And it's like that's the whole thing. It's like we want to be able to give every single person on the team, I don't care who they are, an opportunity to get to the top.
absolutely. I think that's what's gonna a lot of like delineate between the brands that are getting successful and the brands that always are looking in like in turmoil and it's like tumultuous times where there's ups and downs, whereas like the steady growth and the stability you're looking for in terms of like the culture building at the brand really comes from everyone inside the brand, inside the culture, like feeling like they always have opportunities and a clear path to that opportunity. I think that's what we try very hard to lay out. So yeah, that's the time we have. I think it's a really good conversation about these things, and I guess just to end it off, like if you guys are thinking about like starting a practice, you guys are thinking about like building a brand, building a personal brand, the thing that all of us will say is do it now. It's not think about it, do it in 6 months. Do it now, learn as you kind of go. And if you do have any more questions for us in the following episodes coming out, go to clinicalmarketer.com/ask and ask any questions you have for us. I think the more you guys listen to these episodes, the more you'll understand where our strengths are, where our personalities are, where our joy is in terms of talking about certain things and what you can learn from us. And then so I think